So who is Coach K? Coach K is just a girl from the south side of Fort Worth, Texas, with a big dream of helping as many people as possible. I come from a family that is all about being of service, that is about, being a village and connected and making sure that we stand up and support one another. So it's only natural that I fell into this same type of space. I think it's interesting how I got here from being a student athlete to being a life coach. So I played sports my entire life. My whole entire family played softball and baseball. Those are our first sports. And so I played softball for years. And then I also played basketball and did field events for track. I tried volleyball. I sucked. I ended up being the manager. The rest was history. But anywho, I love sports so much because I really believe that they give you the character that you need to have, discipline and consistency, and also that family aspect of having teammates and just showing up for one another, which is another aspect of being a part of a village. So I love that so much. And when I was in high school, I just knew that I was going to play sports on the pro level, or well, first the college level and then the pro level. You couldn't have told me that I wouldn't have been, in that space. Like most kids and most students, that's what we want, right? Because that's the first thing that we identify. But God had other plans for me. So as I went on to go into my junior year of high school, I made a decision to focus more on basketball versus softball. I still played, but I chose to focus on basketball more than softball because I knew that basketball had more options after high school. Softball at that time, it only had college ball and that was it. So thought I was setting myself up for, being able to do more, right? So my junior year of high school, I got injured. I hurt my knee. It was kind of like a freak accident. I hit a wall in the middle of a game. The wall is supposed to have padding inside of the wall. I went to save a ball, hit my knee on the wall, and my knee never was the same again. Now, I didn't rip anything, didn't tear anything, didn't do any of that. I was just in pain for a little while. I thought I tweaked it or like tore something, but honestly, there was nothing on the exams and everything. Like, I was just in horrible pain, right? So I rehabbed and did everything that I needed to do to get back. And as I played the rest of my junior year and my senior year, it just didn't feel the same. It felt like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do what I used to do, right? I lost opportunities because of this. I thought, like I told you before, that I was going to be playing in at least at the college level. And so when this happened, when I got injured and I had the realization that, yo, you're probably not about to go and be able to play at the next level, that kind of like threw me for a loop. And like mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, I was questioning everything. And I mean, everything. Like, I put all into this. I worked so hard. I did everything I was supposed to do on and off the court. You know what I'm saying? Working, going to school, straight A's and B's, like honor roll, did it all. Everything I did, I thought I did everything right. I thought I did it the way I was supposed to do it, right? And in reality, me doing did nothing. It did nothing for me because at the end of the day, when it all came down to it, God said, "No, let me have that back, sis. Let me get that. Let me get that. This is not the road or the path that I want you to be on. I have something better for you." At the time when he made that decision to pull sports from me, I didn't see another pathway. Like, I knew I was going to go to college. I knew I was going to do all of those things, but I didn't see another route to getting there. So when I graduated from high school, I just told myself that I was going to still try out for a college team. I was going to just train and try for a college team. So when I got to Lamar University, I trained so hard and was trying to try out for the team, and I found out that they're not doing tryouts this year. So I just trained that whole year and said, okay, sophomore year, I'll be able to try out. Same thing happened again. I was not able to try out. And then I also had to move back home to Fort Worth to help my mom with my nephew because my brother had to go overseas for the military. So not only did I not get to try out, but I had to come all the way back to Fort Worth and go to our local school, UTA. At UTA, I met a lot of cool people. I used to try to do intramurals and different things like that. But then I got to the point where it was just like, it doesn't feel the same. I feel like I can't perform the way that I'm used to performing. So, like, what's the point? And I was in a very dark space at that time. But the one thing that God did when He brought me back here was He connected me to a group of kids. And the way that it happened, it couldn't have been nothing but God. You know, it couldn't be anybody but God, right? So I was working in the after school program to make money while I went to school. And working in the after school program, I was able to help them with all kinds of stuff like preparing for college, just life stuff, relationships, anything that they needed, we were there to create programming for it, right? And so I was called to go back to my alma mater to be a step team coach for our team at Trimble Tech High School. And really, my friend Tiffany was supposed to go. She was my boss at the time. She was supposed to be the person that went over there to Tech. But instead, we chose that we both would go. But I ended up being over there more than she was because she had to be at the other site. So meeting these kids and just like being their step team coach was very interesting because it was just like, bruh, I don't even step no anymore, but I can direct. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I can do this, but it was just weird the way that it happened because I was not the best fit. So I thought for these kids. And so we spent so much time together. I was with those kids day in and day out. Even when I wasn't with them, I was talking to them, I was connecting with them. And we built a rapport that was just like undeniable. Everybody was just so amazing. They're just such good kids. They had their hardships and things that they had to go through. And God allowed me to be there with them through those things. And it was just like me having to be a person that help them to see the light in their dark moments helps me through my own darkness of trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I always tell this group of kids, like, they saved my life because I literally had to make a decision. If I was going to show up for them authentically, I had to make a decision. I was either going to follow what God told me to do, or I was going to keep chasing after this dream that clearly God is telling me that it's not for you anymore. This is not the path. So those kids, those kids made me have to make a decision, and I ultimately chose to do things God's way and just like embrace what He gave me in the moment versus me chasing the dreams of playing sports. And that was the best decision I could have ever made because working with those students showed me that it's not about being in this space. It's about being a person that can empower and impact the next generation. It's about legacy. And that's where Coach K was birthed. Working with those kids from Trimble Tech and being in that space caused me to really fall in love with development and helping others to really just become their best version of themselves and to like not let their mind block them from the things that God has created them for. And it's kind of crazy because that's literally what we do in life coaching. You know, that's what I do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm helping you to see what's in there already and like what God placed in you. I'm helping you. I just think it's amazing, like, that I had to go through that process of feeling the pain and going through the whole process of being stripped of things before I could see the light and really have the skills fall from my eyes. But if it wasn't for those kids, I wouldn't be Coach K. I wouldn't be in this space. But the one thing that they taught me is it's an honor to just simply be a part of the process. Like, that's my takeaway from that group of students. Simply being a part of the process is what makes me just like have that, like, oh, like, it made me feel like I was on the court again. And or made me feel like it made me feel like I was on the court again. It made me feel like I was on the field again. Just like put me in, coach. Like, I felt like that same feeling that I got when I used to play sports. And so ever since then, I have been on this journey of just making sure that whoever I cross paths with, that they see God in me and that they understand that this person that I am today was not that person before. I want them to know that who stands before you now is someone who understands her purpose and understands that it's never going to look how you think it's going to look. And so the crazy part about that is it always turns out better though. That's the crazy thing about it if you just embrace it. So if I was going to, so when asked the question, who is Coach K, I can honestly tell you that I'm just a woman of God that is on a mission to help others become exactly who God created them to be. And I have chosen to do that through life coaching and focusing on the youth because the youth chose me and God allowed them to be the ones to pull me out and to show me, to illuminate my purpose in my darkest moments. I feel a responsibility to honor that and to always be a person that takes the time to invest in our youth, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be. The cost of doing business is understanding that things won't always look the way that you want them to look, but when you're working with God and when you're allowing Him to lead your life, it's always going to turn out better than you could have ever imagined. All right, y'all. Until next time, stay focused, trust God, and respect the process. I'm Coach K, and I will see you in episode 2 of The Cost of Doing Business. All right, bye.